For many people, there's nothing better than leaving cold Canadian winter weather behind and heading to a sunny destination. Except sometimes that travel part, long lineups, delays, and crowded airport terminals can be a part of the experience. So let's go to Megan Fitzpatrick, who has spent the day at Toronto's Pearson International Airport. Megan, you've been speaking with officials there. Tell us about some tips on making travel easier.
Well, for those that are flying out of Pearson Airport, Hannah, and planning on leaving their car here, one tip is you can book a parking spot in advance before you get here, so you won't have to spend time going level to level searching for an open spot. You can book one in advance, so that could save you some time. And also, similarly, you can book a spot in the security line in advance, so you don't have to wait in line. You can breeze right through if you book that spot in advance. Other tips they've been telling us have to do with your carry-on luggage. A lot of people these days seem to be trying to cram everything into their carry-on so they don't have to check a bag and maybe risk losing it. So it is important to know your airline's regulations to make sure your carry-on fits, and also be aware of what you can and cannot pack in it. Of course, those rules still apply about liquids, 100 milliliters or less, and all those liquids have to fit in a 1 liter bag. I learned something new here today, Hannah, though, having to do with snow globes. If you are planning on giving one of those as a gift, make sure it's a small one if you want it in your carry-on, because that liquid in that snow globe counts. And so make sure it's a small one. We also heard some other tips from the CBSA. Here's some of their advice.
What's important to know is, for example, have your travel documents handy. Always have your passport, or say PR card, or a green card, or permanent resident card as it's called, if you have to show us that. If you are a returning resident, for example, have any receipts of goods you acquired while abroad. So you say if you went shopping. If you're uncertain what your exemption limits are, you could always check our website to see. So if you're gone away for 48 hours, for example, what are you entitled to bring back, duty and tax free? If you also want to know how much you have to owe us, we have a duty and tax estimator online as well. Be aware and declare. Again, if you're not certain about something, you could always ask a border services officer. If you're coming in with gifts, of course, that time of year, people may be giving out gifts, which is great. But we want to make sure that you have those gifts unwrapped or in a gift bag, so it's easily accessible to the officer to be able to verify what that is.
So they don't want to ruin anybody's pretty wrapping job. So keep those gifts unwrapped if you're putting those in your carry-on. Another thing to be aware of, she said, in terms of gifts, if people give you any homemade food gifts, perhaps, be aware of what you can bring back into the country. There are rules around different food products that are allowed to be brought in. And she said you can access a very easy website if you Google AIRS. That stands for Automated Import Reference System. You can plug in an ingredient, for example, and it'll tell you what the rules are in terms of what you can bring into the country. So just be mindful of that. And another thing to be mindful of has to do with cannabis and cannabis products. Of course, it is legal in Canada. It is legal in some parts of the United States, but do not try and bring it across the border is the advice we're hearing here today, including from the U.S. Officials who are here and speaking to us. Take a listen.
Although it's legal in Canada and in many states in the United States, it's illegal to cross the border with any cannabis products, CBD products, things like that, and we see that often. So if you want to save yourself some money, some hassle, and potential jail time, I would definitely say leave that at home.
So some good tips there from those officials. Hannah, people here at Pearson, officials here saying they are bracing for a busy couple of days this week as the travel season ramps up. They're expecting about 1 million people to pass through the airport in the coming days. They say they have staffed up adequately to prepare for the holiday rush. Some of the travelers we've been speaking to today say so far so good from the ones we spoke to. Everybody's fingers are crossed that the weather stays good, no flight cancellations or lost luggage, and that everybody has a happy holiday travel season. We've been speaking to people who are off to various destinations, but one thing they all have in common, saying they're looking forward to the holidays and seeing friends and family. Hannah?
Absolutely. Megan Fitzpatrick at Pearson Airport. Thank you.